Good evening, everybody. It is Monday, September the 30th, 2019, and this is your Mr. Video Game Show, brought to you by Dead Sun Entertainment. Everyone clap your hands, say, yeah, welcome to the show.
Yeah, yeets. Welcome to the show.
I am, of course, Slacker Kite, the Mr. Video Games guy, I guess. I don't know. We're here today talking about video games. And, of course, returning with us today, for $5 a month, you can get a battle pass or a sweet emoticon in her chat. We know what we're going to do. It's Lady Lindsay, aka Lady Marilyn!
Yay. I like that. I really like that one.
Meanwhile, standing in for Brian, who is literally out on assignment, the man whose life story inspired the Goose Game, it's Peter, aka Play Watch Games!
I'm so sorry that I'm replacing Brian.
It's fine. I'm excited to see how his report comes back next week. It's kind of weird. Of course, he's out. A different company has paid him to go cover a gaming-related thing, and we'll talk with him when he gets back to the show. But I'm excited to have Playwatch here. He has a unique take on it that I don't think me or Brian has, so good to have you today.
You mean cynicism?
There is a whole lot of cynicism going on there, yeah.
So what do we got today?
Today, well, you want to start by talking about how your week's been?
Oh, fuck, not really, man. You want to be honest, or do you want me to...
No, do not be honest. Be the jovial man we all know you can be.
Week's been all right. I've been going back playing some some classic games. I've been playing Batman Arkham City. It's an old game, but it's the most perfect Batman game they ever made. And sometimes I just like to go back and remember the story. Like when I'm gonna spoil it here, but it's an old game, so it's your fault if you haven't played it. When you kill Joker and you're walking him out, the first time you see that, you get a little choked up, but then you listen to Joker's voicemails and he starts like singing to you and shit, and oh man, it made me tear up. It's the first video game that made me tear up. So yeah, I like to go back and play it from time to time. Remember what it's like to be Batman. It's pretty cool.
Who doesn't like to be Batman?
Right? If you can be Batman, be Batman.
Absolutely.
I'd rather be Catwoman, but that's just me.
Meanwhile, myself, let's put in for the right one, shall we? I'm just going to steal somebody else's video here. You guys know how it is.
It's on YouTube. It's public.
There you go. I've been playing Mario Kart Tour because I cannot be trusted, and there's a gacha game out there. Of course I have to play it because it's Mario Kart, and I love Mario Kart so much.
Oh, Travis. Oh, no.
And the first 2 weeks of the Gold Pass are free, so I've been sitting here playing around with it. Don't pay $5 a month to play a gacha game. Do not buy the Gold Pass, but do allow for the 2-week subscription to the Gold Pass so you can get all the upfront free shit.
Yeah,
Highly
but do you get
recommended.
to keep all that free shit when the subscription's over?
Yes, you do, because I already spent it.
Oh my god. That video did... Oh my god, okay. Like, it looks good for, a mobile game. You know how I feel about mobile games and how they're not games.
Yeah, it's like Mario Kart 8, but a little bit dumbed down. The driving, it automatically moves. Now, you slide left or right by sliding your finger across the screen. You let loose your what-have-yous by sliding up or down to throw it up or down. It's a fun game. I recommend playing it on the toilet at work, steal some money from your boss and don't give it to Nintendo. But it's free, it's fun, it's worth a laugh. I can't get behind the Battle Pass situation with them, the $4.99 a month, which is more than the entire Nintendo Switch Online catalog per month.
Are you serious? So what made them decide that $4.99 a month that's the sweet spot? People will pay this for our little tiny mobile game.
Because it's a fucking gotcha game. It's a great way to making money and make people recognize your brand and shit. And man, all of that, I can't get into it, but the game's fun.
Yeah, I hate that it's fun because I don't want mobile to be a thing. I don't want that to take over my video games because look at it, man. These pay to wins, pay to plays. Like the gotcha things that you're talking about, they're just swarming the market, and I don't want to see this happen.
Now, I'll say you don't have to really spend the money on it. It's the same way like Armageddon. I haven't spent a dime on this game yet and have had like 8 hours of fun over the last couple days.
Yeah, granted, but I mean, you and me, I was gonna say normal people, but that's not quite true. But we don't, let's say we don't suffer from gambling addiction, which these games target.
Also true.
People that have these addictions, right? And that it's dangerous for them. They have no self-control, and these games are just looking at them like they're cash cow. Told you I bring cynicism. I told you.
I will fully admit I have tooled around with this game, and it's fun in small doses. It's not something I'm going to lose hours upon hours to, but it's going to be good like if I'm waiting for my bus or whatever, or like on the way to and from work if I can hold the connection long enough. But I mean, at the same time, I could also be doing like quick matches in Armageddon. So, yeah.
Do you not have phones? Thanks, Squid. Speaking of Armageddon, though, their in-game currency is no longer a must purchase. You can win that in-game.
Nice.
Yeah, they brought that in with their 1.7 update that they came out with. I think it was last month. It's milestone rewards now, so that makes life a lot nicer.
Now you can win the game currency, the both currencies in games primarily. That's how you're supposed to do it because the amount of money you have to spend per ruby is kind of ridiculous. But at the same time, you gotta get those rubies in order to launch your pipe. You have to stroke that pipe to shoot off into the sky.
What the Jiminy crack are you talking about?
Well, like, there's a pipe, and that's how you get your new characters and your new cars and stuff like that. And so you've got to have enough points to be able to do so.
And then you stroke your pipe, and it goes pachoo, and you get free stuff.
Yep.
Pachoo.
Pachoo!
This game isn't targeted towards boys at all. No.
Nah.
All right, I'm putting that on the list of games I'm never going to play.
I don't blame you, but there is a little bit of talk on it later. We'll go into further details on that subscription later in the show. But for now, let's just dive into the stories. In stuff that we wanted to talk about last week, but our connection decided to be a pain in the fucking ass. Google has announced that it is going to match Apple Arcade at the $4.99 a month, and they are going to launch their own premium subscription service for you to get apps, and basically your Netflix of Google Play apps. There's some really cool titles in the listing. Monument Valley 2, Stardew Valley, Terraria, Limbo, Death Squared, The Battle of Polytopia, This Is the Police. A whole bunch of really interesting games are on their list. I would say actually more interesting to me than the Apple Arcade listing.
So this is for mobile, right?
Yes.
Okay, so some of the games on this list I wouldn't want to play on mobile like Limbo. That's a hard enough game on PC.
But it's Google, right? So that means that it's not just mobile. It'll be cross-platform, PC, mobile, any wherever your Google account is hooked up to. Yes.
It would
Well,
be anywhere that you have the Android account.
Okay, so
so
that would be PC eventually. Well,
not necessarily PC. It'll be the like the Chromebooks
right.
because you have touchscreen capability on that, and they become glorified tablets. But you probably still have to use the touchscreen controls versus using a controller or keyboard and mouse.
Is it just me, or are we getting further and further away from actually owning our games?
Yeah, between this, Apple's store, Xbox's thing, the the Google Stadia account as well. So Google a little bit double dipping here. It's a little nuts.
Yeah, I'd say it's a little nuts. But the thing is it going to be worth it?
I'll add in the fact that the first 2 weeks or the first 10 days actually are free. Let me double check. Yeah, 10 days are free at launch. It's $1.99 per month for the first 12 months for a limited time offer. All of that good stuff. So we'll find out later if it's worth your time or money. I mean, I'll give it a shot once it actually launches. Let me see if the blog post has a launch day for this.
It's going to be launching in the US to start, but then it'll be hitting other countries later, which means in the case of Canada, we're probably going to be waiting a year thereabouts. Given that it took almost a year to get certain games.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I would honestly like to see us get to the point where everything becomes one platform. So, like, a great example is the fact that I have Minecraft for my PC, I have it for the Wii U, and I have it for the PS4. I shouldn't have to buy 3 copies of the game. So, I would like to see how it all just, like, I'd like to see it all just become one.
I have to agree there. I don't like having to purchase a game multiple times to play it on different platforms, but it having different platforms also gives us choice and competition. With this new, I'm going to call it a pass service, live service. That's it. I have a feeling Google is just trying to dip their toe into the market that's already oversaturated, and I have a feeling this might end up in the Google graveyard, like so many of their other. Yeah, that's where I'm thinking this will go. We're oversaturated with this stuff already, and you think about, let's say you have one gamer, one person, or one household, and they sign up for every live service that is available right now. I mean, that's more than my car a month.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not doable. People are going to have to pick and choose. So if Google wants to stand out, they're going to have a lot better titles than, well, what they've got listed now.
Stardew Valley is an I-Do catcher, as is Terraria as well. Those are fairly easy to play on mobile.
I'll grant you that, but they're also older. Those are also older games. They've been out for a while. People have already played them to death.
You're not wrong on that. I think they're going to have to find their killer app. I think Apple has the killer apps a little bit more in some of their launch titles, but Google's probably going to have to play catch up to the interest that's already been made. It's kind of looking like a Me Too, despite the fact that you can't put together this sort of service over the course of a couple of weeks. It really feels to me less like a planned marketing event and more of a stunt to catch up to the goodwill Apple's gotten.
Totally agree, but Google does have basically infinite resources. So if they can do it, or if anybody can do it in just a few days, it's going to be Google.
Also true. Yeah, and I mean,
Yet
for
another...
the listing they have, it's not exactly stuff that's hard to get together. At the very least, I've seen Humble Bundle come together with similar lists.
Oh man, Humble Bundle's awesome. They've got great games on there.
Not wrong. What?
And
you're
the
right,
fact
it's-
that Humble doesn't just do games, they do bundles of software packages or resource packs. Like, I know both Playwatch and I both use the XSplit VCam, and we both ended up with lifetime licenses through a Humble bundle. And that usually runs like $4.99, like $499 for a lifetime license. And I paid like $10 for both of us.
Ooh.
Yeah, so Google's got some catch up to do, and I think you're right that it does feel kind of like a Me Too thing.
Also, on the list of your stream stuff, Microsoft's xCloud is starting to get underway. You can now sign up for the Microsoft xCloud game streaming platform that you can play, they say, on literally any device. It is not out yet, but while they don't have a date for it, you can sign up and you'll be the first to get your hands on Microsoft Project X Cloud for whatever that actually becomes the name when it releases.
Hey, there you go, Mero. You wanted it all in one platform? There it is right there.
Except the question is how much does it cost? And it says you'll need an Android phone or tablet running 6.0 or above with Bluetooth 4.0 support, a Microsoft account, and a Bluetooth-enabled Xbox One controller.
Yep.
Well, most of us have most of that.
It just...
Oh yeah, but think about it. You buy a PlayStation, you're gonna have to buy a PlayStation, of course, TV that can actually run PlayStation, a controller, and then the games for the PlayStation. So it's basically the same thing. You're buying a system.
And it's also coming down to, though, also storage space on mobile, because, like, sure, they can say cloud saves, but they can't do pure stream on this.
Yeah,
So-
downloading Gears 5 onto my phone would be...
That'd be all you have on your phone.
Like, I have a fixed 64 gig storage. I do not have the capacity for an SD card. And even if you do, with the way Android works, it still has a copy on the main hard drive itself as well. So SD cards are useless unless you're using them purely for media storage that never actually touches your phone's OS. So I don't know.
But this might not just be cloud saves. There isn't a lot of information out just yet. But from what I'm gathering from the article and from what I've read is that you might actually just be able to stream the game from the cloud without actually having to download this onto your phone.
Yeah, it should be like Google Play, but...
Yeah, if that's the case, that'll be fantastic. Then you wouldn't have to worry about storage or anything. You just have to have a good enough phone to run this stuff.
I don't know, because, like, I was one of the misguided few that used the PlayStation Now subscription for a while. And even running PS4 games on my computer, which can handle most games, the lag and the stuttering as it pulled from the cloud was dumb. Like, flat out dumb. I was playing mostly slower paced games. Like, what was that? Playwatch, that horror-ish Kids at the Cabin, kind of like Life is Strange.
Until Dawn?
Yes, that one. Playing that, and I'd be afraid to try a faster paced game because the loading was excessive. And their cloud save portions where it's saving to the cloud was so slow. So, I mean, if Sony can't do it, maybe Microsoft can, but at the same time, I'm a little just iffy about it. And if they're opening the applications now and it's a paid service, do you have to start paying now even though the service isn't available yet?
It would be basically whenever they're done with beta, probably you would start paying, because the initial people, as they're saying, are going to be a selected handful who are going to actually beta it, but you'll get a notification once they have more on when this would actually go live.
I'm interested to see where this goes because Xbox, I mean, they're a monster in the video game industry. They've released some amazing titles, some amazing technology. This might be good. I mean, it's again for another live service thing. Then you got to take the bad with the good, I guess. But if this ends up working out for a company like Microsoft, this could be exciting.
I have more trust that Microsoft could pull it off than Google can, but we'll see. Microsoft's cloud is really amazing, and I've seen some questionable things out of Google's cloud before, but
Yeah.
we'll see. All right, we're about to hit some lawsuits. I know everyone here in Twitch chat loves the law. Coming to us through Polygon via Owen S. Good. It is a Bandai Namco lawsuit, specifically towards At Games. You may know At Games as the company that makes the really, really shitty plug-and-play portables that some of you guys may or may not have played. And apparently Bandai Namco has been just pissed off at them in regards to, for one, they made a Pac-Man cabinet, or Miss Pac-Man cabinet, I should say, that they showed off to Bandai Namco, and they're like, yeah, we'll buy into this. And then it turns out that they went to market without getting ready for it, and the one what they brought to market was not as good as what they had promised. As well, they believe that people now no longer are willing to buy Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man micro machines because of how bad the At Games micro flashback blast device was.
So bad. Wasn't there also something about them using it as an unlicensed product? Like they never had permission to actually go ahead and put it to market.
Yeah, they never got the full permission from them, and the original developers of Miss Pac-Man, the MIT creators, were still actually in negotiation, believe it or not, starting from 1983 all the way up to today. But yeah...
System.
As well, the Pac-Man Flashback Blast device, instead of having the clean and nice Pac-Man from the arcades, had the NES ROM instead.
Yeah. And that's a much shittier version for those of you who don't know.
Yeah, I mean, while it was serviceable for, the home in 1986... there was a reason that they always used the phrase arcade quality, because, the NES was not arcade quality.
Yeah, exactly. Now, they were also hit separately with another lawsuit by Walgreens over a bunch of the unsold products over these SNES ROMs, basically. Something like $1.6 million worth of product that they screwed Walgreens over, and they promised to take it back, but as of yet, they've offered no compensation. So this company is just digging themselves a deep asshole, and they've been doing it since '83, so I think they've gotten pretty good at it.
Well, they've also been putting out shit quality stuff since '83, so they're used to this.
I mean, it's basically like Tiger Electronics was better than this crap.
Oh yeah, I don't know if you guys remember the At Games Sega Genesis that it put out, but it was so bad, Sega just went back to scratch and made their own, and that's why we have the Genesis Mini now. So maybe it's a thank God the At Games Mini was so bad, because now we have a fucking great Mini to show and play.
Yeah, I can't believe they had the balls to use such a massive IP like Pac-Man for this. They were gonna get noticed. They had to know this was gonna get noticed.
Yeah, but everyone loves the NES Pac-Man, right?
Oh God, I just hope it gets resolved soon and everyone gets paid what they're owed. This company should not exist.
Oh yeah, I would love nothing more than for At Games to crash and burn into the fucking ground.
Yeah, now
this company is older than I am, though, so I mean, like...
Damn you, youngins. I have to add, though, allegedly, that's still in court, so nothing's been proven or decided yet. These are all just allegations right now. but these allegations have been going on since '83. So I mean, they're pretty solid.
Another delightful lawsuit that we bring up primarily because of Randy fucking Pitchford is involved in yet another lawsuit.
Is he in the news every week?
Because Pitchford is like a certain other public figure who needs the attention to live.
Trump. Just say Trump. We all know you're talking about.
I'm trying to be nice-ish. Kind of, sort of, not quite.
So what's Pitchford got himself into, Trav?
All right, so as far as this goes, Bobby Prince, you may know or may not know, as a music developer for multiple video games spanning through the ages, and the original recordings of the music that were on Duke Nukem 3D, as well as the sound effects and voice samples, were recorded by him. With the promise of Apogee in the original release that $1 would be paid for every copy of Duke Nukem 3D repaid. Fast forward to the Duke Nukem, I forget the name of it now. Anyway, the new Duke Nukem that is, well, it's Duke Nukem 3D, but with all the bells and whistles added. And Randy Pitchford had promised that he would be taken care of and done right by, and then Pitchford just ghosted him. He no longer heard from Mr. Price, or Mr. Price no longer heard from Randy Pitchford. So he's suing not just Randy Pitchford directly, not just Gearbox, but also Valve, as he filed a DMCA takedown against the game, since he was not getting paid the royalties for the music, and Steam did not take down the particular game. It's still up to this day.
Yeah, Steam actually just allegedly anyway ignored the DMCA. It was filed, and they're supposed to respond to something like that, but it either flew under the radar or they purposely ignored it. That is a little bit sketch to me. How many games have come down over the dumbest DMCAs on Steam, and this one didn't work?
Yeah, and music in games has taken down tons of other games, so why a game like Duke Nukem 3D, 20th Anniversary World Tour, that was the name of this particular release.
Right.
Why this one? Like, everyone owns 5 million copies of Duke Nukem 3D. It's not a big deal. Take it down. Get the man his money.
Yeah, I mean, he could have kept it up if he just gave the man his money. Princes owed that money.
But let's face it, the only reason that anybody actually really cares about this is fuck Randy Pitchford.
Basically, yeah. This is just another magic trick by Pitchford.
And the last of the fuck these guys stories, coming from us from PC Gamer and Steven Mesner, when World of Warcraft Classic was released, a certain player started launching DDoS attacks at the North American servers, and then taunting Blizzard via Twitter whenever he would launch these DDoS attacks in the stupidest fucking way. Without, hiding his IP or anything. So after multiple waves of attacks, Blizzard was very keen on tracking down who the hell kept crashing their server because of these repeated attacks.
What was the effect on the servers? Was North American unable to play?
Yeah, pretty much. And it started like they literally methodically went through server by server to crush them.
Now, I don't know about you, Trav. Mero, I'm sure you're aware of this, but I've met World of Warcraft players. I was one at one point. Do not fuck with their game. If they cannot play that game, there will be riots in the streets. People will get hurt.
Oh yeah, it's not the first time that WoW's ever been DDoS'd. Long before Classic ever. Basically, every time something new is released for World of Warcraft, somebody's like, "I'm going to take down World of Warcraft," and World of Warcraft goes down for like a couple hours, and then it comes back up once they figure out how to fix everything, and everyone's like, "Well, that was dumb. Thanks."
We got a comment in chat there from Squid. Who the hell has ever played WoW? Over 10 million people. Squid.
Over 20 million people have played World of Warcraft at its peak, sir.
Well, I was still right. I said over 10, didn't I?
Oh, those people are huge fucking nerds. Every single one of them that ever played WoW. All
so were we, though. Oh, well, I guess we all played WoW, so yeah.
Yeah.
We're in that category.
Mm-hmm. You can let me in.
To give a really good example of how you do not take this game away, I once had a roommate who was obsessed with World of Warcraft, like never left the house, literally just raided all the time. And the one day he really pissed me off because he wasn't doing the dishes and he was just being an overall creep. Playwatch knows more about that guy. And so mid raid, they were doing progression on whatever was the big one at the time. I snuck up and unplugged the router.
Oh.
Just as the piece of loot that he really, really, really wanted dropped.
So you're dead, is what you're trying to tell me. You're actually coming to me from the ethereal plane.
He's 6'7", but he was built like a toothpick. So, I mean, go ahead, bring it, nerd boy.
All right, enough stroking your e-peen. But you seen that video of the guy whose girlfriend deleted his World of Warcraft character and all his armor and everything, right? And how he lost his shit. It was an old video on YouTube way back when. I mean, that's an average response. What happens during like an extended DDoS? I can only imagine how bad it was for those players. And I have a soft spot for them. Like, I feel bad because I was so addicted to that game and I would have been raging myself. So I'm glad I've broken the addiction, but man, it is an addiction. And if you can't get your fix, someone's going to get hurt.
Yeah. Anyway, back to a previous topic I said we'd get back to a little bit. Let's talk about those Mario Kart Tour Gold Pass features and prices. Coming to us from Polygon and Austin Goslin. So, $5. And, yeah. This article fucking slams the whole thing about it being $5. Every item that to be unlocked through loot boxes that can be purchased in-game. The boxes give you a chance to unlock a variety of characters, carts, and skins as a standard gacha mechanic for a mobile game, but Mario Kart Tour offers a subscription service called Gold Pass. Subscription gives players gold gifts, which are exclusive bonuses for competing in tour games, gold challenges, which are challenges that will allow players to display exclusive badges, and the 200cc mode, the fastest racing setting in Mario Kart Tour. That's right, there's an entire game mode hidden behind the subscription fee.
That is terrible. I've said before on the show how I think Nintendo are the innovators of the video game industry. They invent new technology, new ways to play video games, and they don't necessarily make good games to go along with it. That's when the rest of the video game industry takes the bull by the horns, takes the lead, and makes the games to fit the new technology, right? That's how you had the, what was it, that fucking tracking thing for Xbox that followed you around. I can't remember what it's called. Kinetics. This just feels like Nintendo is completely out of touch with video games. They've been, few hits, more misses than hits in their video game library, and now they release something like this. I really feel like they should just stick to hardware.
I would tend to agree. Now, Nintendo looks at this primarily as promotion, and yeah, there's people that do way worse than what Nintendo's doing, and Jim certainly made the point that just because there's people who do worse doesn't mean we should look at the people who, do better but still do the same thing and go, oh yeah, this is fine. They're doing it, but they're doing it in a more nice way than the other guys.
And you're exactly right, and that's sort of been the trend in the video game industry. Well, we we took out microtransactions, but we made a live service. Well, it's still bad. It's still bad. It's just a different kind of bad.
Sure, and of course, we're not just going to throw loot boxes at you. We've got surprise mechanics for you to play with.
Yeah, and this whole entire game mode locked behind a paywall, that's that's a slap in the face. That to me is telling me that Nintendo does not respect my time or my money.
I'm going to tell you from what I played of the 200cc. I tried the 200cc. It's dumb, and I just went back to the 150cc that I could get for free anyway. So I don't even recommend the game style that you can get from paying for it. So don't pay for it. It's dumb.
In the classic Mario Karts, I don't think I ever went more than 150cc. That was fast enough.
Yeah, so you could pay $3.99 per month, and hey, you can play Mario Kart on the SNES. Have fun with that instead.
Far better version, in my opinion. Get that one.
Or, pay once the $59.99 and play the Mario Kart 8, which is a much better game.
Absolutely. There wasn't anything better than the N64's version. It was the best.
All right, but other news, of course, we all know that TwitchCon happened over the weekend, and what really came up to be a trend amongst the people in the community was not about anything about the con itself or anything they would want to be from the con itself for people to be talking about, but instead, coming to us from Dexerto and David Purcell, Twitch has been heavily criticized over leaving unattended drinks at the TwitchCon party. There was a party, people had to be ID'd, and you could come in if you're over 21 of age, and there were entire tables with just beer sitting out in the open with nobody really paying close attention to it. One thing worth noting that several people have talked about their drinks being spiked. This came from outside of the convention itself. It was people out at a pub, but it was basically full of TwitchCon goers at that bar.
So the risk was apparent, but the biggest risk, I think, is letting those beers go lukewarm. Travis, those should be in the fridge, damn it.
Oh, and those were like High Life too.
Yeah, right. No, but this is a serious safety concern. I'm glad it didn't happen at TwitchCon, but they left themselves open to it, and they should have known better.
Now, I'll say, in my own world, for TwitchCon's defense, I go to so many industry conventions, and this is how it is normally done, at least at the conventions I go to, but you don't have such a large group of dumb as you have at TwitchCon, and especially of young people who are stupid and, let's say, attractive people wandering around, especially since this was a Twitch party specifically, so of course they invited influencers to come in, and, yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, this is an old way of doing conventions. This is when there was no light shone on how bad things are. Let's say men in particular. Now with with the advent of the internet and social media and how these stories are presented to us on a daily basis, Twitch existing solely on the internet, there's no reason for them to not know what the major concerns were for the women attending these cons. And I'm sure some of the men were also at risk, but I feel like the ones that are at the greatest risk were the women.
Oh, without a doubt, especially, they're influencers that they're so proud to come streaming out.
Well, exactly. Like being a Twitch streamer and a woman, I can't really speak to this. Mara can speak to this better, but I've heard stories from her, and it's difficult. You get your stalkers, you get the weirdos, and now you got to deal with them in person at a con with open beer.
Yeah, I was following a couple of female streamers really closely in their lead up to TwitchCon, and one actually was debating. She already had everything paid for, had everything booked, and she almost went, "You know what, guys? No, I'm not going." There's a handful of people who follow my channel that are making me feel incredibly unsafe, and seeing a huge chunk of the streaming community come together and go, "We have your back. Point them out, and we will make sure they never come near you," is awesome. That being said, it shouldn't have to be like that.
She's not wrong. It shouldn't have to be like that.
And like, women streamers, female presenting streamers, this is shit we deal with on a daily basis. Like, I had a friend who used to stream, and she would stream like cosplay builds. As she was building them, she was doing a full Thanos costume for her husband. And unfortunately, with the way her table was set up and where her camera was, somebody popped into her chat and went, "Oh, look, another boob streamer." And then started harassing her. She had a great mod who smacked them down really fast. But, like, we're people. We're not objects. Please treat us like people.
And that's true for everybody.
Remind me, what are these people again? I don't think I've seen them in a while.
The things you don't talk to.
Gotcha. Anyway, luckily enough for Twitch, that wasn't the only story to come out of them. There's some positive. Twitch, the main thrust of their presentation over at TwitchCon was that they want to make ads less annoying to people. New creator dashboards, improved moderation, and ads will play picture-in-picture instead of overlapping the stream entirely. And you can have the option of disabling the pre-roll altogether in favor of having regular ad breaks instead. Which is nicer for some people, you know, put every hour and a half, take yourself a nice couple-minute break to go to the restroom and put up some ads in the meantime, make some money, and your followers can choose what they want to do.
And you kind of glossed over that, but that's kind of a big point where affiliates can now start earning ad revenue. Whereas before, obviously, we couldn't. So we're all affiliates here, the three of us, and we don't make any money off these ads. So even if you do have the pre-roll going with the ad, you can do that picture in picture so your viewers don't miss anything. And like you're right, if you want to go take a break, throw up an ad, maybe make some money if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it runs you the risk of slightly alienating your office, but let's face it, Twitch is here to make money for both you and for Twitch. So...
Exactly. Well, once you build a community on Twitch, then they'll understand, okay, this ad is supporting the streamer. I'm here watching this person because I support this person. Yeah, let them run ads. Absolutely.
Will this affect you guys in any way and for how your streams go? I don't think it's going to change how I stream, but...
Well, yes and no. I will not likely make use of any midstream ads. I'll likely just keep the beginning and see how that goes, like the pre-roll. I do like the new interface. Everything that Twitch has done to update it, it is way more smooth. It just looks beautiful, and things are a lot easier to find. In terms of how my streams are going to go, no, I don't think anything is going to change. I'm just going to see if anything changes without me doing anything first.
Yeah, I mean, like, if we have to choose to do the picture-in-picture or do the or do ad breaks, I'm probably going to do the picture-in-picture. I mean, typically I go live and then I give it a good 2-3 minutes before I actually jump into things. because I respect not everybody is a subscriber, so their ads are going to be ads. Um, I mean, the midstream ad seems a little interesting because sometimes, like, I need like 5 minutes after like 2 hours straight of streaming and talking, and my throat is toast, and I desperately need another cup of coffee. Um, but I don't know if it's really super going to affect me. Like having a little bit of extra method of income isn't a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you can pick and choose your ads, if I can cater my ads to my audience, that'd be great. But I don't think that's going to come for some time now. And I do like that they are narrowing the gap between affiliate and partner. So they are giving the affiliates a chance to make almost as much money as the partners do. So I do like that. If I were a partner, however, would this annoy me as a partner? I worked so hard to become a partner and get all this, and now they're just handing it out like candy to the affiliates. What do you guys think?
I don't think it would annoy me specifically, but you know me, I'm kind of a pushover. Hey, everyone's being pulled up together. Cool. Communism.
Amen, comrade.
I don't think, like, if I was a partner, I don't think it would bother me one way or the other. Because if I was a partner, I'd already have a good chunk of subscribers. Yeah, it might bother my new viewers, but it's like by the time you're a partner, you've built a solid community. Do you want to continue growing? Of course. I mean, everybody does. But at the same time, like, I don't think it'd bother me. It's like, to pull back to like like earlier conversations, when in World of Warcraft they changed your base level for your first level of riding from like 40 down to 20. What did we do? We just went, huh, kids will never know the struggle, right? Like,
That's true.
it was no big deal. So I don't think it's going to rub a lot of partners the wrong way. I mean, there are some assholes out there, but I mean, you get that with everything. So
I do agree with you. I just wanted to play devil's advocate there and see it from a different perspective. But I'm too easygoing, and frankly, if it makes it easier for people to become streamers and make this a viable career, I'm all for it. I mean, I love watching streams. I love streaming. So yeah, let's get more people on board.
Heck yeah. So let's move on now to my favorite section. The reviews are in. And we've got a couple new games that have came out since we last talked. Of course, Mario Kart Tour. Look at how great it's doing with a whole 56 on Metacritic.
Jesus, I'm surprised it scored that high.
It's got some highish scores. You got Game Zebo giving it a 90. I don't know who the fuck that is.
Game Zebo, yeah, trusted source of reviews everywhere.
Yeah, the first one that I see with a high score that is actually a name I know is Game Revolution, giving it a 70. And I would say that's kind of correct. Destructoid more at 45. I can also agree with that. It's a little bit of a cash grab.
Yeah, I agree more with the user reviews here. Frankly, for me, they're the ones that count on Metacritic. I don't really look at their congregated. You know what I mean? All the professional reviews that they have on there. The user reviews, though, those are players. Those are people that play games all the time, and some of them play just these kinds of games all the time. They know what they're talking about.
Yeah, but you also know a game like this is going to get review bombed by gamers because of the fact that it's an online game. I think a mixed response is kind of, appropriate here for a game like Mario Kart Tour.
Well, what would be your review? You've played it. You've got your 2 weeks in or more.
Mm-hmm.
So do you agree with this review?
I would say it is a decent enough game to do while you're on the toilet. Don't spend more time with it. Don't spend money on it specifically. But hey, if you've got, 15 minutes, that gets you through an entire cup. And that shit's fun. I like Mario Kart, though. I like it a lot.
That shit's fun. I just want to point that out. I'm done.
Meanwhile, the Untitled Goose Game, the meme-producing factory, has gotten a pretty healthy 78 Metascore with a user score of 5.0.
You've been telling me about this game and that I really, really have to play it because you think that I should be frustrated and angry just like you.
I think especially Merowyn would love this game since it's both being a dick and a puzzle game at the same time, which I think appeals to her specifically.
It certainly does. If it has puzzles in it, I am boned. I am not good at puzzles.
Yeah, and admittedly for me, I don't have the patience that I wish I had, so I just kind of get bored.
Yeah, I mean, I'm great at being a dick.
Mhm.
Fantastic at that. I'd be aces at that part of the game, but puzzles would stump me.
Well, see, the reason why I suggested it to Playwatch is that you and Brian have been describing this as like a PG version of Hitman.
Basically.
And you enjoyed Hitman, right, Playwatch?
I did. I really did.
Ergo, you should play the Goose Game.
But I liked the way that when you fucked up a lot in Hitman, like, you could shoot your way out of it. Like, in the Goose Game, just usually nothing happens. Like, somebody gets annoyed at you and shoves you away. That's about it.
So there's no "fuck it, boys, we're doing it live" moments.
Correct.
Nice reference. It was good. Well, I might check it out because I do like being a dick, and Mero can help me with the puzzles.
Yeah, keep her as a backseat driver.
We're gonna take this single player game and make it co-op, whether they want us to or not.
And the last game on our list is the anime waifu simulator Code Vein. Kind of respectable score of 71, a little bit high on the Mixer average. From what I've read from everyone, it's kind of a mixed bag, right? It's a love it or hate it sort of scenario. It's waifus of Dark Souls is kind of the best way to describe it, and it's heavy on the anime titties, so, you know, if you're into that, it's where you are.
I don't know how to feel about that. I mean, I like titties. I don't like anime, but I like anime titties, so I might play it. You see my dilemma.
I do.
Have you actually played this, though? Have you played through this?
I have not. I've seen a few people play it. I've listened to some reviews of it, and the people that like it seem to like it, especially if you like games like Sekiro. Those seem to be the kind of people that recommend Code Vein, but if you're not into that kind of game, it can get really repetitive, is one of the major gripes that I've heard of it so far.
That's sort of the crux of the downfall of many games, though. Is you have to have something repetitive in there to do. It's just a matter of finding that sweet spot. How much is too much?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it can be a little bit awkward for some people, and some of the controls, and a little bit inconsistent with launching your attacks. So, you know, keep that in mind, that it's not a game for everyone.
So, anime Dark Souls.
There you go.
Got it. All right.
Josh, I am shit-talking your waifus. How you doing, Josh? But hey, speaking of Code Vein, you got any spare blood on hand?
Ooh. Are we going to vampires?
Sadly not. Coming to us from Polygon and Nicole Carpenter, they decided to do a really interesting launch celebration for Code Vein with a blood drive. So if you were in San Diego during TwitchCon, you too could give blood and get a free copy of Code Vein.
I'm sorry, this sounds like the worst idea ever.
What? No, this would be great. Think about it.
No. Bear in mind, you donate blood, you're supposed to take it easy for the next 3 or 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
You're not supposed to drink alcohol. You're not supposed to like exert yourself in any way, shape, or form. And this is coming from the girl who took 2 jogging steps to catch my bus after giving blood and almost died. I looked like a horrible addict coming off of a bad fix while I was on that bus. I was swaying and blacking out, and yeah, it was bad.
How are you playing video games that gets you tired?
Yeah, but you're at a convention. You've never been to a convention, Peter. So there's a lot of walking around, there's a lot of excitement, your adrenaline is up, and this just strikes me as a really bad idea. You could end up with so many people in very bad ways. And what kind of like contingency plan did they have for like, did they have a good medical staff on hand to pick people up off the ground?
Well, look, all I'm going to say is that if I could get a free copy of Borderlands 3 by giving blood, I would do that.
Let me throw out my problem with this is you donate your blood, you get a copy of Code Vein, you go home, you start playing it. There's no way to get that rush of blood afterwards, so what's going to happen? You're going to pass out.
Drink some orange juice, you'll be fine.
Alright, enough of that bullshit. Let's talk about Goose Game again.
But you said no more bullshit.
I lied! The internet has gone fucking crazy for the Goose Game. I've had people who know nothing about gaming coming up to me legitimately and asking me, what is this shit about a goose? So I have to sit back and explain to the normies now, gross, what an Untitled Goose Game is.
So what's an Untitled Goose Game?
You are not a normie by any stretch of the word, mister. I know you. I know where you come from.
I've been enjoying the memes that have been coming out of it, though.
I do enjoy the memes, but my concern is that we're going to burn out quick on goose culture. Like, this is going to burn up and be another cake scenario.
Game of the year. Thanks, Josh. Yeah. It might be, but the game's still going to be around. You know how meme culture goes. It's hot today. It'll be dead tomorrow. But the game's still going to be around.
Bowsette is still out there. It still haunts my timeline about once a week and finds its way into the internetosphere all the damn time.
Look, as long as people keep creating memes from this fantastically funny game, I'm okay with it. That's fine.
Now, admittedly, I love this paragraph. It's the first great, amazing paragraph from Kotaku in a long time. Here's my unsolicited pitch. Imagine the hijinks of Untitled Goose Game. But it's Waluigi, who now has the Mushroom Kingdom equivalent of a YouTube channel, and he's lurking around, pranking Mario and Luigi and Peach and Toad and everyone else, ruining their days, wrecking their shit. That I would spend all of my money on. Nintendo, you want your $4.99 a month? Put this down. I will pay your $5 a month for this. Fuck your Mario Kart. This is where the money's at.
Yes, and please make it multiplayer. Yeah, I'm on board with that. That's a good idea. Thanks, Kotaku.
Things especially to Luke Plugcat. Sometimes you got some gems there, Luke. You got a good idea. You should go to the Nintendo and tell them about your ideas.
So, if I want to understand the memes better, I have to play this game.
Correct.
It's not enough to just watch it. I need to experience it.
Nah, I think you could just play the game, honestly. Or, not at all. Because honestly, I think you understand. I think everyone understands gooses are fucking annoying. They're annoying little shits.
Cobra chickens.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. For fuck's sake.
You will never think of these any other way.
And our last story of the day is the backlash, surprising to me and nearly everyone on the internet, with The Last of Us Part 2. They mentioned previously that there will be no multiplayer mode in The Last of Us Part 2, with the following statement as well after making the announcement. We wanted to address multiplayer in The Last of Us Part 2. As we've stated, the single-player campaign is far and away the most ambitious project Naughty Dog has ever undertaken. Likewise, as development began on the evolution of our factions mode from The Last of Us Part 1, the vision of the team grew beyond an additional mode that could be included with our enormous single-player campaign. Wanting to support both visions, we made the difficult choice that The Last of Us Part 2 would not include an online mode. However, you will eventually experience the fruit of our team's online ambition, but not as part of The Last of Us Part 2. When and where it will be realized is still to be determined, but rest assured, we are as big a fans of faction as the rest of our community, excited to share more when it's ready.
So I'm going to just say this right off the bat. Good. This was a fantastic single-player experience, and I think that they should focus on that. I think it would just be ruined to just add on a multiplayer experience just because the fans wanted it without really fleshing it out. So I think Naughty Dog made a good decision here by not adding it in.
Mm-hmm. No,
and besides, how would you even make that work? I mean, everyone's gonna just want to play Ellie, so why?
Now, see, I feel completely unqualified to speak on this because I am probably the only person on the planet who has the right console, but has never played Last of Us.
Sinner.
So.
It's my favorite game of the last decade. I cannot recommend The Last of Us enough to anybody.
Yep, best game on that system. Better than Uncharted, and I loved Uncharted.
Easily.
Okay. I might have to go hunt it down at some point. Once Broketober is over.
But yeah, the internet has had a fucking field day over this, whining and complaining that can't they even put in a half-baked multiplayer on this, and I for one would trust Naughty Dog on this if they don't feel that it's up for it, because multiplayer is where a lot of these companies make their money. They make it hard in the multiplayer. If they wanted to just give you a shitty multiplayer, they would have just given you a shitty multiplayer.
Yeah, exactly.
And the thing is, too, like, the people that are clamoring for an online multiplayer are going to be the first ones in line to bitch and complain when it sucks.
You're not wrong.
And I mean, the internet's fickle. They think they know what they want. They don't. Consumers never know what they want.
The Steve Jobs approach.
But in to some degree, it's true. Because what they really want is a fleshed out multiplayer mode, something that is worthy of them paying $80 or $60 for the title. And if they just get something tacked on, like Josh is saying, the factions following it's a cult following. So if Naughty Dog just threw that on there to satisfy them but didn't make it as good as the rest of the game, he's gonna piss off that entire following.
Very, very true. So I think they did the best thing that they could to just cut the line with that. Just give us the single player experience. Not everything has to have the tacked on multiplayer. And I appreciate a company saying, you know what? We don't need the money that we'll make from it. We know that we'll make enough off of selling The Last of Us 2 because everyone is frothing at the mouth for this game.
Yeah, right. Oh, like you have to remember too, video games are not just entertainment; it's also an art form. So, changing the game and changing the experience, you're asking you're basically telling a painter what to paint. So let them do their art, and hopefully it'll entertain.
All right. Well, that is our last story of the week. Of course, Brian will come back with reports from his live campaign out in the real world, watching how real gamers play video games.
Yay, Brian.
But of course, we cannot finish a Mr. Video Games without giving you the Mr. Video Game Award. It is, of course, the person, the thing, the place the whatever that has done something so amazing, so bad, so awful, so great, that you can only look at it and go, that's video games. And this week's winner, a return winner, Mr. Hideo Kojima again. Just when you think this man has gotten as fucking strange and weird with his bullshit that he's giving us, he goes a step further. And at least for the PS4 Pro version, the Death Stranding special release, the BB controller will talk to you. The little baby in the jar will fucking talk back to you through your controller.
This is so him.
Because, this isn't nightmare-inducing enough as is.
I mean, it could be fun.
Yeah, we don't know if this is going to be any controller, but at the very least, the official piss yellow Death Stranding controller will allow you to hear BB gurgle back at you in real time.
You picked a good one this week, Trav. That is definitely Mr. Video Games right there.
Now, see, the thing is about this, and, Peter, you say this wouldn't be that creepy, but could you imagine putting your game on pause, walking away, your TV times out and shuts off, and then in the middle of your darkened house, you start hearing a baby gurgling and chirping and cooing at you, realizing fully that you don't have a kid.
That's where the fun comes in. Doing this to someone else.
Just leave it at your friend's house. Leave it running overnight.
I mean, it's gimmicky, but I think it's fun gimmicky. So, good job, Hideo.
All right, we have been Mr. Video Games for September the 30th, 2019. Your last thing, your last endeavor on the September of 2019. But of course, Play Watch, you got any last words for our audience this evening?
I miss Brian a lot. No, it's been fun. If you guys know anything about Borderlands 3, can you tell me everything you know so I can live vicariously through you? That's all I gotta say.
Lady Merowyn, any final words this week?
It's the usual, guys. Love each other, be awesome to each other. Try to make somebody smile every day. It can even be something small, but just try to leave the world a better place than you started.
All right, and this has been Mr. Video Games again, September 30th, 2019. Of course, we always have our podcast live on youtube.com/CPGP Games. And, there's a VOD. You can watch it later. Thank you to Josh, other Josh, Penguin, all the other people who came along, listened, joined us for this stream today. Have a good night and a pleasant tomorrow.
Night, folks.